Alright, my name is Jojo Mayer, and I want to give you a short tour about the equipment that I'm playing tonight. It's essentially a Sonor ProLite series drum kit, which is a maple shell, a thin vintage maple shell with reinforcement hoops. And the configuration that I play here is basically the standard configuration that I play with my band too, with Nerve. I have to my far left side, I have a 14 by 5 inch snare drum, which I tune really low. It's kind of like a dirty sound. I do it, it's kind of like to create a dialogue with the snare drum that I have. My main snare drum, which is a 13 inch by 5, which is more like a crisp sound. So I have the high sounds, the high crisp sound, and the low dirty sounds. The tom is a 10 inch tom, just nothing really exceptional. And the 14 is a 14 by 4. And to my far right I have an 8 inch tom. It's kind of like the soprano voice. The drum heads that I use are Evans. I use for the snare drums the G14, which is a single ply 14, like a little heavier head. Tonight I played G14s on the tom too, but I usually play G pluses, which is also a little bit of like a thicker shell. It all coated ambassador on like the coated ambassador type weight, and on the bottom it's a G1. It's a clear. That's basically for like the drum. For the bass drum is a 20 inch by 18. It's a little bit longer than I usually use, and I use a G1 coated head on the batter and a closed black single ply head. I don't use much muffling. I use a EQ pad, Evans EQ pad. So I like an open sound for this type of music with a lot of character. As far as the cymbals go, I have here to my far left on the snare drum. It's a new device that we just released with Sabian. Something that I've been playing for the past maybe 2.5 years. It's basically it's a device that helps me to reverse engineer some of the electronic sounds. Like some of the white noise sounds. It's quite simple. It's just it's a double hoop, medium weight. It's like the bottom has a flange, like the hi-hat, so it doesn't have contact all the way, which is very important for this. And there's a second hoop with holes in it that has less weight, so it kind of floats on top of it. So I put it inside those little clamps, that kind of hold it in place. It comes with 3 clamps. I use sometimes only 2. And so with this I have the choice to play the snare in the center with no effect, or I can play just the hoop, or I can play both together. Also with the clamps I can change the sound, so I can get more a tighter sound. For instance, get like a really, so I can either go a big like type of dubstep sound. Okay, so I have all these possibilities, all these. This, for instance. So basically this is a little utility device, and it came out of the idea I used to put broken splash cymbals and ashtrays and all sorts, but it was always a little bit messy, so this is the idea to consolidate this system. It's a lot of fun. I've been using those a lot over the past 2 years for studio recordings and everything. Sometimes, you know, you even have, with a very tight setting, you can hardly hear the effect. But this, with the microphone, it can do a lot of things and really assimilate those sounds. And in the studio, I hardly use, I mean, I sometimes use electronic triggers, but this has been relieving me of the trigger duty to like a big extent. This thing is it's a 10-inch chopper. It's kind of like, you know, it gives me a little bit of a different voice for some of the machine things. Okay, so it's that type of sound. There's many different applications. The hi-hat is a fierce hat. I use 13s, and tonight I use a 14, just to get a little bit more, like a bigger sound. And it's a very dry sound, which is important because I need a lot of different nuances from my sound. So with this, I can go from a really dirty. Okay, a lot of different. And everything comes out really clear. I can do all these things, and this has no too much spread that covers up the nuances of like the stick sound, which is very important for what I do. This is a 10-inch. It's kind of the little brother, 10-inch mini fierce, you know. And what's good with this, it's very loud, so I don't have to strain for like volume. I can do like a lot of different things. Also freeze my left foot up to do certain things. For instance, you know, I can do a lot of different things. It's a nice voice. It's kind of my little combo. Here I have it's an 18-inch Omni, which is a series that I created about a year ago with like Sabian. Like the basic idea is, you know, you can use it as a crash cymbal. This is just a very high sound. I usually with the fierce stuff is more low texture, more like trashy, you know, and this is the opposite. It's really clean and really up, so it's very sensitive. I get like this, but I can also play a ride, which is nice sometimes if I need that high sound. Sensitive, and it goes away. That's a little bit more of like an electronic sound, this particular one. Here I have a stack. This is something that I've been using for almost 20 years. It's a 13-inch fierce. You know, it could be anything really. You know, fierce hi-hat with a Chinese 14-inch. So that's more like that. So my hi-hat orchestra. So which I use. All these sounds with that. This is a 22-inch ride Omni. I don't want to say it's a ride cymbal because it is. Very clear, but it's also a crash cymbal. So. Different voices in one cymbal, very, very sensitive. This is the 18-inch fierce crash, which is a very different aesthetic. Very low. It's a good you know, a good contrast. And This is the Chinese, 18-inch Chinese. I change my Chinese a lot. This is the AAX. I sometimes use hand hammered and sometimes 20-inch. So I just recently started to play more Chinese cymbals. So this is basically that. My sticks are Vic First Jojo Mayer signature sticks, and the maybe one thing that I have to talk about, the pedal which you cannot see, which we have over there. It's called the Perfect Balance pedal, and this is the end of a 6-year project that I've been trying to find the perfectly balanced pedal. It allows me to play all the techniques without having to go through obstacle. This allows me to play a lot of the tap dancing techniques, but don't sacrifice volume with speed. So I can play loud and fast with this, and you can press this here and you can collapse the pedal if you want to take it with me. You don't have to bring a case, and that's the Perfect Balance pedal. This is the instrument that connects me to my instrument. Yeah.
Hey, would you like to suggest or share, like, for you, really 5 important records that were really fundamental for your development, for your style?
Well, it's really hard to name 5 records, you know,
but even more.
It's definitely, you know, some records I've been listening to a lot, you know, and I mean, I don't know, say I would say some James Brown stuff. I really went deep into James Brown, and some of the Beatles records, the early, you know, maybe like Revolver and those things, and perhaps Miles Davis, 4 and More. It's really a record that I listened to 100,000 times. Maybe Herbie Hancock and the Headhunters. Listen to that. Maybe some Weather Report records I listened to many times, and some Frank Zappa records. But it's hard to say 5, you know, or it's, you know, it's like this, and then some of those records that I just told you about, you know, I didn't listen to in 25 or 30 years, you know, but I know this is a part of my musical spine and understanding. So now it's different, you know. I listen to all. I'm like a garbage can when it comes to me. I listen to a lot of things, and sometimes I listen to just BBC radio, and I listen to dubstep or glitch beats, and I don't even know what it is. And sometimes I go like, oh, I like this, you know. Then I bust my telephone out and I do Shazam, so to know what it is, and you know, this is how I acquaint new things, you know. And so I have less, you know, like I have less of a, how should I say, my ear changed, you know. Like today I can listen to music more like a consumer and less like an analyst, you know. When I was younger, I analyzed everything really clearly because I wanted to know how it's done. Now I can relax more and actually appreciate music, you know, like everybody else.
What could you tell us what's up in this 2013 for you or for Nerve? Some recordings?
13, okay. Yeah, well, this year I am doing quite a few more clinics than I usually do because to promote the pedal, and you know, I've been doing more clinics than I ever did actually. But when I go back to New York, I'll be going to the studio, record some more material with Nerve. There's a couple ideas, and we haven't really recorded anything in about 8 months. So this is I'm looking forward to that. And then I got a few, you know, I do a little bit session work in New York in April, and the end of March, some different things, some jazz records. And then in April I'll be playing a project with the Buddy Rich Big Band. Just play those songs, you know. It's just one concert. And then I be in this, probably be towards the end of the first half of this year, I'll be starting production for my second DVD, which is Secret Weapon for the Modern Drummer Part 2, which is everything below the waist.
That's great.
That's
great.
Project. So I don't know exactly when I'm going to be finished because I always have to mix it up with like my other projects and my touring schedule and all that. But that's kind of like the bulk of it. You know, we'll be touring in Japan with Nerve a little bit later on, and I hope to bring Nerve back to Europe, because we haven't played here for more than a year and a half. So hopefully there will be an opportunity to do a little bit more things in Europe with Nerve.
Okay, Jojo, I think thanks really a lot. You know, it's we leave you, a little bit of.
No problem. Hi, this is Jojo Mayer. I'm here and I say hi to iLikeDrums.com.